When do we light the Shabbat candles? Okay, we have to light the Shabbat candles before Shabbat because lighting a fire is the prohibition that's mentioned in the Torah, that you should not light fires in any of the places that you dwell. So even though there are 39 major prohibitions on Shabbat, Lametet Isurei Melacha, nevertheless, the one that's chosen by the Torah as the example, the prime example of prohibition, is lighting a fire. So we certainly are not going to light the candles on Shabbat, but you have to light the candles before Shabbat. When is before Shabbat? Well, that's not an easy question to answer. And we will try to answer that in different ways as we go along. But the rule of thumb is that we consider Shkiyat Chama, sunset, as the beginning in some way of Shabbat. So that the time to light the candles on Shabbat is sometime before sunset. Now, different places choose different amounts of time before sunset, but they all agree that you light the candles before sunset. There may not be, if you're in a place where there's no minhag kavod, or today people go on tiulim to all hiking around in all kinds of strange places, the rule of thumb is a half hour before sunset. If a half hour seems to be too much, or you're still preparing, you're still doing something, at least minimally 20 minutes before Shkia. So that we light the candles before Shabbat starts astronomically. When does the Shabbat start as far as we're concerned? Shkiyat HaChama, the setting of the sun. How much before the setting of the sun should we light the candles? 20 minutes to a half hour. The way we do this is that we want people to know that we're doing it for Shabbat. That's why we light the candles near Shabbat, when it's almost Shabbat. If we had a candle that burned 24 hours, we could light it 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday. But then nobody would know that we're lighting it especially for Shabbat. But we want people to know that. We want them to know that Shabbat begins with Hadlakat Nerot. And in fact, the implication of that is that the person who lights the candle, the woman, the mother, the daughter, who lights candles at that time, is actually accepting the Shabbat on herself. She's saying, Shabbat doesn't start only when the sun sets, but Shabbat can start even before. It can start when I light the candles for the Shabbat. So that's the rule of thumb about the time. There is also there are several other things that, since we are lighting the candles in order to enhance our meals, we have to make sure there's enough oil or enough wax or enough stuff in the candles to burn until the meal is over. So that the starting time is 20 minutes to a half hour before sunset. But the ending time for the burning of these candles is till the end of the first meal of Shabbat.